Are you rethinking your purpose in life? Being centered in a strong spiritual connection is more important now than ever. Hi, I'm Bryn, Blankinship, hypnotherapist, international instructor, and author. Each episode, I'll share my experiences with guiding spiritual regression clients into the afterlife and the soul lessons gained, prompting you to explore your own soul's journey and empowering you by shifting your perception of yourself and your place in this world. I want you to know that you're here by design, not by accident. You are not alone. You are loved. You are here on purpose, for a purpose. When you stand in your truth and fulfill your purpose, you support others in fulfilling theirs. If this intrigues you, stay tuned in as we explore. Hey, everybody. It's Bryn Blankinship here with the Afterlife Teacher. And today we have a really important story that I'm going to talk about from one of my case studies. And this is your soul plan versus free will and the choice not taken. So what happens when a client is given guidance in a session and they don't follow it, right? What happens with that? So we're going to talk about my case study that is in Wisdom of Souls. And this is a group of us from the Newton Institute that got together and shared case studies in this book. And this is from my client who was experiencing, we're going to call her Stephanie. That's not her real name. That's a pseudonym. I always use pseudonyms in the book. And this is about her life between life session, where she was faced with career choices, motherhood, and an incoming soul, and the timing of all of that. And the spiritual guidance that the watchers and her soul gave her, along with the potential future incoming soul, the future potential child that was coming in to support her, and the choices that she was making. So we're going to talk a little bit about soul agreements and fear, learning patience, the timing, free will, and how all of these things shape our path, and how everything is in divine timing. Even though we think things are supposed to happen a certain way, even though we get guidance, it still comes down to divine timing. So Stephanie and her husband, Gary, were newly married. Stephanie was 33 years old when she came to see me, and she was considering getting her doctorate. And she was worried that this could interfere with having a child, and she was really uncertain what path to take. And she admitted that she wasn't sure that she was ready for all the changes that were going to happen as a result of being a mother and having children. So our first session was about that soul level conflict and the fears that it carried forth. Now, she was very intuitive. She had dreams where she communicated with her guides. So she had that level of awareness as well. And she was just trying to sort all of this out. And one of the things that came through was about fear. All right. Fear as a soul, trying, as a human, trying to live our soul's path and follow the guidance of what we feel that we're being shown. So I pulled some things out that are not in the book, and I wanted to give you a little bit more insight and background into what she was shown in her session. So she was shown a library. She was taken to a library, and they pulled out books off of a shelf. And it was like a picture book of images of lifetimes related to what she was working with. And her guides showed her that she had had many, many lifetimes where she had lost a child. And either she had lost a child or there had been a difficult childbirth. And one of them was the 1200s. As an English knight, and he watched his wife die in childbirth, giving birth to their third child. And he was broken. He was bitter. He The third child didn't survive either. And he took out his frustrations. He was bitter and resentful. He took that out on his first two children that had survived. So that was one lifetime. And then her guides remind her that science has improved since the 1200s and medicine has advanced. So she doesn't have those same things to be concerned with. They've even told her in session that it would be a smooth childbirth, but she still had these blocks. So another thing that they shared was she needed to stop putting pressure on herself. She felt like she would be a failure if she didn't do this, if she didn't bring all these things together. She knew it was affecting the others in her soul group. And they said, stop. Stop putting pressure on yourself. That is not helping the situation. So then they showed her a lifetime in 16th century Germany as a little boy who his mother dies giving birth giving birth to him. So he has no children, no siblings to play with. And he grows up and becomes a monk. And this allows him to be close to God and close to his soul. So there was a different kind of lifetime involving childbirth where his mother died. Then there was a lifetime in the mid 1800s in America. And this was the most significant lifetime that she was shown in session. This is a female who was suffering lifelong pain after a difficult childbirth, and she wasn't able to have more children. So that's the lifetime that was challenging her now, although there were others leading up to that. So during that session, the incoming soul comes forward and identifies herself as Mandy, and that she would have a daughter, and that they've been together before, that she's here to reassure her, and she is going to be a firecracker. She's going to have a lot of energy, just like her mom, and it's going to cause her mom to not be thinking about herself, not be in her head, because as a therapist, she would also think about her clients and think about things. And she's very smart and intellectual. So that got her, that would get her out of her head, having a child that was going to be high energy that she would have to chase after. So that was one thing. The other thing Mandy said was, I will have a strong recall of past life memories that can help my mission. I will have a strong sense of purpose, and that's going to help us both. So she came in to reassure. A lot happened in that session. We were focused on career and the choice not taken. That is really what the focus was about, and some of the fears that were holding this client back. So years went by. I was not in touch with Stephanie. And when we were compiling the stories for the book, I thought about this story, so I pulled it out. I contacted her. It had been 10 years. 10 years. So I was curious as to what had happened in the 10 years since I'd seen her. And she was reluctant to tell me, but she admitted that she had not had a child as she expected. So she admitted that she wanted to enjoy being newly married. She wanted to spend time with her husband, and she just wasn't quite ready. And she didn't want to go through the pain of childbirth, which is understandable given the past lives that she had experienced related to that. So what she did was she continued her work as a therapist. She tried again to get her master's degree, but was thwarted, was stopped. Every attempt to get her master's degree was stopped in one way or another. She had gotten some dogs, show dogs that she spent time with, that she loved, and she admitted that they were like a distraction for her, and that they had even considered at one point adoption with a birth mother, and then at the last minute, the birth mother backed out. The birth mother changed her mind. So it's not that Stephanie wasn't taking steps to move forward, but things were just not lining up. They just weren't. So in this follow-up session, she was given spiritual guidance, and she was told that this lifetime is about learning choice versus free will versus her soul plan. That's what this is about, and having choice. So her guides and the watchers, the higher level group, came in, and as well as her soul came in and gave her advice. And the guides advised that we advise, but you have the freedom to follow it or not. And that she needed to go through the pain of childbirth to get through the block. There was no other way through it. She had to go through that experience. And she said that she's still not sure if she's ready. And they understood that, and they shared with her that the dogs that she loves so much, that they were providing happiness, patience, and unconditional love while she's making her decision, while she's getting to that place. And they were like placeholders to heal the cracks in her heart. So this is not just about physical pain from a past life or fear of physical pain in current life. This is about the emotional pain of losing a child, watching someone that you love lose a child, watching your mother die giving birth to you, and all of those different experiences that come from that, and the pain in the heart, the emotional pain. So she understood this better, and they showed her again that lifetime in the mid 1800s with the lifelong pain and where she couldn't have any more children. And they said that this was significant. This is the one that was holding her back. And then Mandy, the incoming soul, appeared, offering encouragement, support. All of those things were shared with her in the session. So it's about free will, but it's also about divine timing. And at the time of that session, Mandy explained that she was in school prepping for her next lifetime, that there were options of other parents, but that Stephanie and Gary were her best option. They would give her the balance that she needed. They were her best choice. That's why she chose them. And she was okay, in spirit time to wait a little bit. It was okay because that was part of, she understood the difficulties that Stephanie's going through with these challenges because of all the lifetimes. And Mandy had been in some of the lifetimes with her that they had shared together. So, and also her husband, she knew he was the one. I mean, she already knew he was the one, but it was shown to her in many ways in her session as well. So, that's why she was putting pressure on herself again, 10 years later, to do it and to make it happen. And to get out of her head, she had become athletic. She had done some marathon training, a lot of things that she did to really support a healthy body. She felt like they were distractions, and I guess they were. But these are also things that she was doing so that she wasn't just in her head. So she was into her body more, so that she was healing some of the pain in her heart with these pets that she loved so dearly, and spending time with her husband, because these were activities they could do together, right? And she wanted to spend time with him before she had the child or children. And she also wanted to get her next level, her master's degree. And she was trying to figure out the timing of all that. But each time she tried to move forward with that, it just didn't happen. So those were all the things that had her reluctant to tell me. But I have no judgment. I'm here to uncover what's going on. Let's try to figure this out. So her guides explained it was about timing, free will, and that they helped her to see this in a larger soul context. Okay. And Stephanie has the opportunity now to break these patterns around childbirth by going through a physical birth and breaking through that. But the roadblocks that were being put into place were about timing, and they were helping her to learn patience as well. Patience with herself, self-love, patience. And so Mandy had chosen these parents because she felt they would be a good balance for her, but she also shared that the timing had to be good for all the souls involved. So if it's not happening, it's because it's not good for everyone. It will line up when it's supposed to. And Stephanie still has choice with soul agreements and the guidance that's in place. And the role of some of the spiritual symbols that she was given, that she shared, they were for grounding, they were for aligning, and they were for quieting the mind. And they came from those lifetimes, like the lifetime as the monk, where she was learning grounding and being out in nature and connecting to her soul and to God. So all of these things were coming into play, and there's a reason that her guides showed her those specific lifetimes to show her insight into some of the fears that she had now, because she has really strong intuition. And they were explaining that sometimes intuition can present itself, fear actually can sometimes fear can present itself as intuition when it's actually carryover from a past life, fears from those lifetimes and those experiences that human experienced that are part of the soul that Stephanie is part of. So as those things were shown to her, they just reminded her fear doesn't, fear not always originating from this lifetime, and those series of lifetimes with the loss of a child are the reasons for the unconscious blocks. And reminding her she has an opportunity now for karmic resolution, and that she can stop putting herself through this. And I'm not sure if I shared this one, but I want to go back to this one. I think I missed one too. There is also a lifetime as a young girl, and she fell down a well and died. She drowned in the well, and her guides showed her that, and she said, I had to experience it. My parents had to experience losing a child. I didn't need a long life. I needed a lifetime where I was nurtured and happy. I had a happy childhood and I was loved. So she experienced from all sides of that life. And all of those things are coloring what she's experiencing now. So some of the fear, she didn't carry a lot of fear from that life as much as the heartache that she felt for causing her parents that. But it was part of the plan that they planned out before they got here. So all of these are opportunities to clear that karma. There's free will. There's the soul plan. They coexist. They work together. And when you shift, when you're shown something and you don't take that path, everything lines up with the new path that you're taking. It takes a minute and everything realigns, and then we move forward with that. And sometimes we come back around to that path that we were considering before, but we come to it with new information or more of a state of readiness, maybe. So feeling delayed does not always mean that you're off path. And sometimes it just means that the timing is still unfolding. And in her case, the timing may not occur in this lifetime. It could be prep for the next life. Now, in session, it seemed like it's for now. And we left that second session with, you can do this, and there was encouragement, and it seemed like it was for now. However, if it didn't happen now, it's prep for when it does happen in the next lifetime, when they do come together. And they'll have this lifetime to add to the list of lifetimes for support and, insight and guidance and everything else that Stephanie's soul is working with. And so it may take a series of lifetimes, but the opportunity is here now for her to do that. And she's got Mandy encouraging her. She's got unconditional love. She's got the love that she needs and the support, and it's helping her to love herself too. Love herself enough to say, no, I'm just not ready for this. Or to say, yes, I'm ready now. But the blocks are not happening at the mind level. They're happening deeper. They're happening at that subconscious level because of those lifetimes that I just mentioned to you. And so her soul group knows how challenging everything is. Her soul group knows how difficult this is for her. So they're providing her with unconditional love. They're still learning their lessons too. They're doing what they need to do while all the other people in the soul group are lining up. And then it'll all come together. So career and family and purpose, they're really all part of the same soul curriculum that this client is working with. And she was left with encouragement. She was left knowing that the choice is hers and no judgment. The only one judging her is herself. She's putting that extra pressure on herself to make things happen, and she doesn't have to. They're saying stop doing that for all the reasons that we've been talking about here. So that's why I shared that case study in Wisdom of Souls. I felt like it was really important to talk about what happens when when a client has a session and they're given information, but it doesn't play out the way that they choose a different path than what they're shown. Because it happens sometimes. Now, when I contacted Stephanie, I didn't know when I contacted her. I was expecting, because this is soul of her incoming child came through, I was expecting that she was going to give me the follow-up and there was going to be this little girl and she was going to tell me all that, right? But that's not what happened. And the soul came through again in the second session 10 years later and still was giving encouragement, was saying some things that my client needed to hear. And yeah, just all coming together to support each other on their soul's journey for where they are. And then a deeper understanding of those dogs. All the love that she was given to the dogs, they were giving back to her to heal her heart. That's the biggest piece of this in my mind, the heart. The heart needs to heal so that then she can move forward. And by taking the time with the dogs, there are no accidents with that. Taking time with those dogs is helping her to heal those places in her heart for the time where she will incarnate and have that child. So I just want to leave you with that and know that no matter where you are, you're on the right path. Well, let me put it this way. No matter where you are, you're exactly where you need to be. And you also have free will. You have choice in your life path. And if you're given guidance, you can follow that with a deeper understanding. These sessions are meant to provide insight and understanding. The client is reading themselves. I'm not giving a psychic reading. The client is reading themselves and they're sharing with me what's happening. I'm asking questions to their guides, to their soul group members who show up, to the watchers, the soul advisory council. I'm asking questions to help my client because my client is in there and I want to ask questions that my client doesn't even know to ask. And some questions that my client does know to ask because they shared it with me before we started the session, so that my client can leave with information that will help move them forward in their life with peace, with happiness, with joy, with deeper understanding. And in this case, she's learning about free will. by not just taking the choice that's being laid out and given. She's learning about free will for the time where she will choose when the right time is. So I just want to leave you with that and give you something to think about. And this is Bryn Blankinship. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram. You can find out about courses if you want to learn how to do this work at brynblankinship.com. You can follow me on LinkedIn, Threads. Check out my YouTube channel. And thank you so much. And until next time, we will see you then.
You've been listening to Afterlife Teacher, Soul Lessons bringing you full circle with Bryn Blankinship. Tune into Transformation Talk Radio for more discussions of the soul's journey across different lifetimes and soul lessons gained, helping you to consider the deeper reason you are here. Bryn shares her wisdom spanning 20 years of guiding spiritual regression clients into the afterlife and connecting them with their spiritual team and soul's purpose to bring them full circle, helping you gain insight into your own soul's purpose while supporting others in fulfilling theirs. Living in partnership with your soul, with less worry and greater trust, you can be in divine flow and thrive. For more information on becoming a certified hypnotherapist and regressionist and assisting with the global transformation taking place, visit brynblankinship.com.